It is about which president performed better, when and how. And that's the question I want now to direct to you, because I can see the debate is coming down to which president did better for Vision 2030. Is it down to the presidents only? Is it down to the political class only? And Hesbon, this is a question to you. Many people are concerned about such visions and leaving them entirely to politicians. And someone comes with their own manifesto, and they decide that I will focus probably on the economy or the social pillar or something like that. Is it a wrong expectation to leave this to the political class because they drive the resources? Or should we try and insulate such a vision from politics?
Thank you. I would look at it this way. Let's go to Proverbs 29 verse 18. A nation without a vision, the people perish. That's what the Bible says. So the leadership at the top sets a vision. And that has been with us since time immemorial, even in any institution. But that vision should be that which takes people in a certain direction. And I think Vision 2030, the way it was promulgated, what President Kibaki did at that time, we didn't have a long-term national overarching vision that would look beyond the generation that was in power. And I think Kibaki was the first to take us in that direction. And what Kibaki did was to work with the National Economic and Social Council. That was more or less the team that was helping him drive that space. And he chaired it initially, Professor Nyong'o at some point. So he did a good job. But I wanted also to bring to light that even the Vision 2030, the conversation around Vision 2030 started in 2004. By the time we were going through 2005, the political environment was so poisonous. And we had the banana referendum and the orange that went different ways. So we didn't have the right environment around that. But the conversations continued. So what was promulgated in 2008 was a 4-year work. Now we are here thinking of Vision 20, beyond Vision 2030. Let me not call it Vision 2060 because it is not anywhere. The conversation is, can we think beyond Vision 2030? Now, what do we need to do? And I think there's a reason why Kenyans need to be clear in their minds here. The president set up more or less like an advisory team led by Professor Nyong'o to advise on how to progress the conversation on the next journey. That was like my technical team advising me. Then now he brings the conversation to the Kenyan people. How do we start this conversation? And even when they met yesterday, I think there was a missing link of certain political players which speaks to the kind of polarized political environment. But be that as it may, how this is to progress then must be a conversation that is multi-sectoral, and it should be sector-driven, or the multi-sectoral teams will come together. The Vision Secretariat can probably just help put them in one team, and then they will start the conversation.
So the political class stays away at some point?
No, they have to be part of the conversation. They must be part of it. But they are not the only players in that space.
Because the biggest concern is ring-fencing a vision like this one beyond a change in regime. And
that's what I'm getting to. So one of the things we have learned from Vision 2030, and I think Professor Nyong'o's team and Professor Hino did mention it, that other than the Kibaki government that was very clear on how much support it was giving to the Secretariat to drive the vision, and the existence of National Economic and Social Council, which was basically like the pillar or the board that was heading the Secretariat, that was dropped in 2014 when President Uhuru took over. And they were never, that conversation never took off. Be that as it may, we must also not forget that Vision 2030 was just the vision itself. But it was broken down into 5 chunks of medium-term programs. So this medium-term program, the first one gave birth to the first constitution. The second one then built on 1 or 2 other things. We are in the 4th one. And this 4th one, once it ends, it will create a vacuum before we get to 2030. The 5th one goes to 2032. So as it is, we need to avoid a situation where you are planning a medium-term plan that is not anchored on any vision. So I think that speaks to the reason for us to start thinking of having this conversation. Secondly, we need to remember that planning cycles takes a lot of time as well. So if you don't start planning for for vision that will succeed, whatever we'll come up with. And we should not preempt how long it will be, because that should be a conversation that Kenyans collectively have, and more importantly, the younger generation, who will be the bearers of this vision in the years to come, should play a very key role in that journey. Of course, the technical experts and people who have experience and knowledge around economic planning and things like that, subject matter experts are very important in that conversation. But it should not be about them. It must be about the generation to come, the young people. What do they dream about their lives?
Yes, and now the question about manifestos comes in.
Yes.
That any manifesto that any serious candidate, presidential candidate comes with should in a way be tied to some of these visions.
Exactly.
And how do we scrutinize these manifestos enough to ensure that they actually align with
So my thinking was that if the Secretariat was functional enough and the political players were informed, it would be important that as you craft your manifesto as a political party, you check back with the Vision Secretariat on what our journey or guardrails are, so that you plan within that space. But I would also dare say that I've looked at the manifestos of the Kibaki regime, the Uhuru regime, the Ruto regime. All the pillars they've mentioned are actually within the Vision 2030. However, it could be heavy in one area and least heavy in certain areas. And therefore, that creates a distortion that eventually this scorecard has told us that one pillar is scoring 88, another one is 55, another one 59, another one 66, which means they've not all worked together. And I think that speaks to disjointed planning through various manifestos of political players that do not benefit from the hindsight of what is in the Vision 2030. And I think going into the future, one of the lessons we've learned is that no matter who is in power, if we ourselves as Kenyans agree that this is the vision we are running with, and that's why we need to build it with everyone, then you must be bound by it. And that's what countries like China do. So how do we bind you by it? Do we need to enact a law that protects that vision and even how the Secretariat is run and its funding? That is one. Do we then say that there will be a council that will run that vision that is devoid of politics, is purely meritocracy, and the regimes that come in have no buy-in in controlling who sits in that space? If we are to do those two, then it doesn't matter. You can sit comfortable that whoever is coming in must work within such a framework. And I think those are some of the lessons we learn from this Vision 2030.
Because the president called for a national conversation. But